In today's video, a mass shooting plot has been prevented by local law enforcement after they received a tip. This guy was planning to shoot up the Atlanta airport. It's just insanity. And also, Democrats are continuing to melt down over President Trump's AI video. We're going to show you all of this, of course, and what both sides are saying. But let's hear more about this mass shooting plot. Take a look.
Police say that a tragedy was just averted at the world's busiest airport. Body cam video shows police arresting a suspect today inside Atlanta, Georgia's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. This after his family warned authorities that he was headed to the airport to shoot it up. Police say he had an AR-15 assault rifle in his vehicle outside. CNN's Isabel Rosales is in Atlanta. Isabel, how did this unfold?
Jake, what we saw was Atlanta's mayor and his police chief profusely thanking the family of the suspect for averting what they believe could have been a mass shooting at the world's busiest airport by notifying authorities that something wasn't right. So let me give you the timeline of events here with the suspect, Billy Cagle, 49 years old. He's a convicted felon for marijuana possession more than 2 decades ago, and authorities say he had mental health challenges. So this started at 9:29 in the morning, where Billy Cagle, he's on video arriving there at the South Terminal. 2 minutes later, he leaves his car outside and then goes inside of the airport. The police chief here in Atlanta say that he was very interested in the TSA check-in area that was heavily crowded with travelers. Now, by 9:40 a.m., this is when Cartersville Police Department, an hour north of Atlanta, alerts APD that there's a potential threat because they were hearing from the family of the suspect that he was on social media streaming, that he was armed, that he was headed to the airport to, quote, shoot it up.
Okay, so bottom line up front, number one, it's very fortunate he was not successful here. Number two, shout out to the law enforcement agencies who responded quickly and was able to apprehend him. And Atlanta airport, I mean, that is just catastrophic. Now, one thing I want to point out to you guys up front about this story, because you guys know we love showing you both sides, right? So you can make up your own mind. That's why we like sharing with you guys ground news, because that tool does just that. It shows you what both sides are saying in the mainstream media. And when I looked up this story, I think you guys will be shocked to find, look at this, 30% of left-leaning sources are talking about this, 65% lean in the center, and only 5% lean right are talking about this. I don't understand why that is. Maybe you guys might have a better idea than me. But when we want to be independent thinkers, I think that's good information to be aware of. Now, I want to show you exactly what these headlines are saying and how they're framing all of this. But before I do, listen more to this story. It's crazy.
But we're learning that a convicted felon was allegedly planning to shoot up the Atlanta airport today, the world's busiest airport, armed with an AR-15. And that suspect reportedly did get inside the airport before police quickly stopped him. So here's a live look at Hartsfield-Jackson right now. And here's what we know. Our affiliate source says that this felon did a FaceTime call with family members, allegedly telling them his plans to shoot up the Atlanta airport. Someone reportedly notified police after that call, who then found the suspect's car outside of the airport. It was blocking traffic, but the suspect was not inside. Police reportedly did end up finding the felon inside of the airport. They grabbed him, took him into custody, and authorities reportedly found that AR-15 while searching his car. Our Fox affiliate is also reporting that they had a camera at the airport all morning. It was very busy, and nobody saw anything. So it seems this whole incident was kept pretty quiet, but we're hoping to learn more from APD very soon. There is a press conference scheduled for about 15 minutes from now, but obviously a lot of questions as to how this supposed convicted felon got his hands on that high-powered semi-automatic rifle. And this, of course, all happening during a government shutdown where airports nationwide are struggling to stay staffed. And if you know anything about the Atlanta airport, you know it's always busy regardless, even without that government shutdown. So back out here live, thankfully authorities reportedly did stop a potential horrific situation. But again, hoping to learn more from APD.
Now, we have a video to show you of the actual suspect and how he was moving about the airport. Also, photos to show you of the weapon and his vehicle. And before we get to that, I want you guys to pay attention to the headlines, because when you're doing your research, right, and you want to see how stories are being reported, all you got to do is look at the headlines. And that's the cool thing about ground news. It pulls in all of the articles. They organize them by political leaning. and you could see the actual headline and the subtitles, which allows you to figure out, okay, I see where they're going with this story. Now, obviously, as you guys see this, a man armed with AR-15 arrested after threats to shoot up Atlanta airport. Some people are using the semiotic weapon. Some people are using AR-15. Some people are using assault weapon, mass shooting. And so you can kind of get the framing of the overall story. And if I scroll up here, they have left, center, and right. And that's why we love using this to produce the show, because it gives me a clear picture of what the angles are in the media to deliver you the unfiltered truth about these stories.
So if you want to use this tool for yourself, all you have to do is go to ground.news/Devori, or you could download the mobile app. Just use promo code Devori, and it's going to give you access to everything that I showed you in this video, including 40% off the Vantage plan.
What are you doing, sir? 2025. How are you? How did you get, what are your reasons at the airport right now?
What now?
Why are you at the airport?
Oh, I'm just here. What I heard?
What kind of car you drive?
Huh?
What kind of car do you drive?
I got dropped off.
You got dropped off? Okay, we just looking. We just have a situation going on.
Oh, okay. You're welcome.
Yeah, you girls have a dog. Officer Daniels. Yeah, pleasure. Billy?
Yes, ma'am.
16 radio. Is the guy named Billy?
Huh?
Billy. All right, we have hands. Put your hands behind your back, sir. Put your hands behind your back.
Give me my phone. No. It's filming. It's filming. Give me my phone. What did I hurt? What did I hurt? It's my phone. Oh, put it.
It shows one male detained, fit in the description. We're gonna head back to the precinct to confirm.
Okay, now, according to the authorities, they did hold a press conference. It wasn't nationally televised. It was really short. But they said that they found an AR-15 assault rifle with 27 rounds of ammunition in the back of the man's truck, which if you saw at the end of that clip, they were showing you a video of it. I have a photo here to show you. They say Billy Cagle, 49 years old, was arrested on suspicion of making terrorist threats, criminal attempt to aggravated assault and firearm charges. And here's an example of that. I'm going to go by it fast just in case, YouTube wants to act funny. Anyways, he also wrote on Sunday on Facebook, I told my kids if anything happens to me, Sue, they can get $50 to $100 million. And so it's just, this is one of those situations where thank the Lord that people called when they thought something was off, and law enforcement was able to respond in a timely manner. Obviously, information about his voting registration status and who he voted for, that's all going to come out. And so it'll be interesting to see how this story develops. Now let's go to our second one. And this is much more positive, okay? So stay with me here. And I find it to be entertaining. So that AI video that the president posted on Truth Social of him dropping waste on libs, yeah, they're not letting that go. They're continuing to melt down over it. Here is Hakeem Jeffries just hours ago on CNN doing just that. Take a look.
Which showed him with a crown, flying in a plane, bombing the No Kings protesters with piles of waste. It's a family program. I'll use that word. House Speaker Mike Johnson says that it's just Trump using social media and satire. Satire is the word that he used to make a point. How do you see it?
Well, that video is deeply unserious, deeply unpresidential and deeply un-American. But unfortunately, it's the type of erratic, extreme behavior that the American people have continued to see from this president and from this administration from the very beginning. And of course, it's no surprise to us that House Republicans continue to behave as nothing more than reckless rubber stamps for Donald Trump's extreme agenda that's hurting the American people, and of course for his extreme behavior that they continue to whitewash.
Speaker Johnson.
I mean, you can never get an authentic reaction from Hakeem Jeffries. It's just unfortunate every time we have to play a clip of him. I know we're not getting anything from it. You know, it's not very often you get an emotional response from him because he's literally on autopilot. And to the matter of whether or not this is presidential, I mean, listen, you can find so many decisions from all presidents and you could say, hey, that was not presidential. Okay, we know who Donald J. Trump is. So let's not act surprised every time he puts up out a video or he makes a post and it offends people. I mean, you'd think by now they would learn. Stop reacting to the president all the time. Don't you guys have better things to do or to focus on? I guess not. Here's Michael Singleton giving a different perspective. Take a listen.
That he's making, Michael, that he wishes he could drop.
Look, I
on his
think,
fellow Americans.
look, this is what I think. I think a lot of Republicans look at this, and I've texted with a lot of folks about it. They thought it was hilarious. They thought it was funny. Some of my Democratic friends thought it was a little over the top, but even they acknowledged to me, you know, I got to give it to Trump. He is good at sort of goading our side with some of these sort of satirical videos and other memes that he typically would post on social media. It makes him more relatable to the average person. You wouldn't typically see this from a president, but the average person looks at this, Jake, and they sort of laugh or they dislike it. But I don't think it's something to sort of set your hair on fire over.
Yeah, you see, the interesting thing about what Michael said, which I agree with, is nothing to lose sleep over. And as a matter of fact, if I knew I was going to get a president who would secure the border, crack down on crime, deal with foreign policy, meaning trying to bring peace to the world, would start to address the issue with China, would bring electricity costs down, gas down, slow the record inflation that took place under the Biden administration, get wokeness out of the military and our education system, and start holding these corrupt individuals accountable. And the only bad thing I was going to get was AI videos that offend sensitive people. Yeah, sign me up, especially if I'm comparing that to the last president who was never anywhere to be found. And every time you put him in front of a camera, it looked like it was elder abuse. So I'm going to take the AI videos. Okay, it may not be tasteful. It may offend some people. And he might be wrong at certain occasions. I'm going to take that every time because I'm results driven. I'm taking these results over Joe Biden any day. Okay, let's continue.
According to the police departments, Donald Trump's response was to post an image of himself, thankfully AI generated, but we won't rule anything out at this hour, in an aircraft dumping feces across America and Americans. Even for him, it seemed like a new low. Any response to his reaction to the success of the No Kings protest?
Well, first off, I don't know what was worse, that video or him actually detonating a shell over the I-5. But just a quick recap, there was a ton of different GOP lies about No Kings, right? Democrats will end the shutdown post No Kings. That hasn't happened. Protesters are wildly violent. As you covered, that wasn't true. Protesters are paid. No, they're not. Soros checks are not coming in. I can tell you that much. And no one showed up. That was absolutely not true. We saw over 7 million people come out across the world. The only thing that Trump said or did this entire time that wasn't a lie was him shitting on everyday Americans. And he's been doing that since long before he gained political office.
It's not Donald Trump that has been crapping on everyday Americans. In fact, if he's been crapping on anybody, it's been the deep state, the establishment, these career politicians that have made it their life's work to capitalize on their political positions. That's why Congress continues to get paid, even though the government shutdown is continuing to drag on. And even their own staffers are not getting paid, but they are. It's why people go into Congress and one day they're broke and another day they're worth $100 million. Yeah, I think Congress has truly been crapping on the American people, especially in a much bigger way than Donald Trump ever has and ever could, in my opinion. Okay, speaking of crapping on people, let's go to our next story. This is Bernie Sanders. He had some interviews today on The View, on CBS Morning, If you guys watched our video earlier, you know the former White House press secretary humiliated herself on her book tour. I would throw Bernie Sanders in there as well. He humiliated himself because he was confronted multiple times about his hypocrisy regarding the government shutdown. Let's start with The View. Take a listen.
It's easier for the politicians in D.C. to go away from each other and say, we will win this way, while people are losing their paychecks. If Congress just said, we're not going to take our paychecks till we figure this out, that would be a noble step in the right direction, I would say.
That's not everybody can afford to do. You got some young people there with kids there.
Either can the people that aren't getting paid, though.
I think
and
that's
there's
a fair
holdout.
point. I think that's a fair point.
Yeah, of course it's a fair point, but what is Bernie Sanders going to do about it? Nothing. See, we have to face reality as Americans. There's this left versus right conversation. There's this woke versus common sense conversation. And then there's something called the federal government versus the American people. And that's what we're talking about right now. The federal government, historically Congress, does not operate in our best interest. They operate what's in the best interest of their donors and their pockets. And that's why I just said earlier, who's still getting paid right now, even though the government is shut down? Is it their staffers, their personal assistants, their other people who work on Capitol Hill, who are in these support roles, security, etc.? No, none of them are getting paid, but the people of Congress are getting paid. So they are walking hypocrites at the highest level. And here's another example of him continuing to be confronted by all of this. Take a look.
Let's reopen the government first. He can't guarantee the outcome, but you'll get the vote. Why isn't that no good?
I'll tell you why it's no good. Right now, as I think everybody knows, our current healthcare system is broken. It's dysfunctional. We spend twice as much per person as the people of any other country. 85 million uninsured. We don't have enough doctors, nurses, dentists, etc. It's a broken system. What Trump did in his big, beautiful bill is to throw 15 million low-income and working-class people off the health care they currently have by massive cuts in Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act. You know what studies show, guys? Let's talk about this. Studies show that when you throw 15 million low-income and working-class people off health care, 50,000 people a year will die unnecessarily. They don't have the money to go to a doctor. They have a chronic illness. They will die. And then on top of that, all over the country, in my state of Vermont, all over the country, people right now are receiving notices from their insurance companies. Their premiums are going to go up by 20%, by double.
So open the government and vote on it. Make the case.
Really? No. And let 50,000 people die if Trump vetoes the legislation, if the House doesn't deal with the legislation. You know what's going on right now in the House? The Speaker of the House, Mr. Johnson, has given his people a 5-week vacation. They're not even in Washington, D.C. Before I vote on a bill that will right now allow 50,000 people to die unnecessarily, I want it absolutely clear that that will not happen, period.
Yeah, see, this is what we would call hyperbole. According to Bernie Sanders and the Democrat Party, their new talking point is 50,000 people are going to die. And they're basically making that reach because obviously illegal aliens are going to lose funding regarding healthcare, because we know the federal government should not be subsidizing their healthcare, should not be funding their healthcare. And Republicans have gotten a little stricter on who can stay on Medicaid, who can qualify for Medicaid. And I'm all for that. Getting healthcare is not a basic human right, in my opinion. Okay. Not in a capitalistic system. Okay. Now, if we don't want to live in a capitalistic system, then we would make healthcare universal. Okay, no question. So I'm not buying his 50,000 people are going to die. I mean, they're basically admitting, yeah, let's make the American people feel pain. Okay. Well, the people on CBS did not like that, so they followed up with this question. Take a listen.
But meantime, you could have the president is saying that the shutdown's a chance for Republicans to cut programs left and right that they don't like, that you like. So how long are you willing to let this ride for losses?
Look, I cannot allow, in good conscience, 50,000 people a year to die unnecessarily, and in my state and all over this country. Healthcare premiums. You think you're paying enough out there right now? Look at doubling premiums for 20 million people, sometimes tripling, quadrupling.
So you don't think you can win a vote? How do we get out of this with both sides blaming the other? Still, nobody's talking.
Yeah, they're just pointing the finger.
I think that's what's so frustrating to the people.
Okay, so needless to say, that did not go very well for Bernie Sanders because, one, he admits out loud that they're okay with a government shutdown, even if it negatively impacts people, as long as they have the ability to argue about these ACA subsidies and they want to push back on the Medicaid that was stripped out of the One Big Beautiful Bill, which obviously was funding illegal aliens. And we've gone through how that exactly happens, even though they deny it. They want those two things before the government opens. And so it's just a stunning admission that they want the American people to feel pain. It's really crazy. Now, next story, and this is more continuing to prove our point about the difference between a Democrat, particularly one who has Trump derangement syndrome, and someone who supports Trump. Doesn't matter the skin color. They can see how authentic he is and how his whole purpose in life is to make America great again. This clip is between a black guy who is MAGA and this raging liberal. Take a look at this.
My God!
Wait, what'd you say?
What'd you say? You're black and you're MAGA. I can't be black and MAGA? Worse. I can't be black and MAGA.
You can't sweat skin because there'll be a lot of blacks who are rolling with the Republicans.
So I can't be black and MAGA.
Oh, you can be black and MAGA. You're a fucking sellout.
Oh.
You're a sellout.
How am I a sellout?
You're a piece of shit.
I can't have my own opinion.
Absolute.
I can't have my own opinion.
You are really... It's worse. You would expect that shit from me being white, but you hate yourself so much.
Oh my!
You have so much self-hate that it's sad. Hopefully you'll come around. You said shame on him? Shame on him.
Okay, I wanted to show you guys that because it really makes it very clear what black conservatives go through. Nobody's looking for sympathy, obviously, but I think sometimes it's good to see how raging liberals really behave, especially when they come across a black man who supports President Trump. It's the ultimate kryptonite, if you think about it. It's the ultimate trigger. I mean, besides arguing that there's only two genders, right? And wearing a MAGA hat, I think the next triggering thing for them is seeing a black conservative. Now, just so you guys understand my own firsthand experience here, there's part of the black community that obviously looks down on black men who think for themselves. That's number one. Then there are raging liberals that you saw in the video who literally spew the same talking points and say that they're not about hate, that they're about love, but they're spewing hate. And they think because I support Trump, I'm hateful. And that's what's lost on this country, is that just because I voted for Trump and you voted for Kamala Harris, that doesn't make us evil individuals. It just means we have a difference of opinion and who we would want to see president. Obviously, that's intellect, and it's something they continue to lack. Okay, more of this.
Really? Why do you feel the need to lecture him as a black man? I mean, you're telling him.
Right.
You fucking hate your own skin color.
How?
Do you think that Trump people like you? A lot of them. Oh, they hate you. They're using you. You exist. People like you.
Are you using white privilege to try to lecture a black man? Is that what's going on right now? Is that what's going on?
I use my
white privilege to lecture a black man?
I use my white privilege to help other people.
By lecturing a black man. That's a different opinion, right? That's a different opinion, right? So lecture.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest misconceptions of being a black conservative is that people who disagree with you just assume that you're only that way because you're seeking approval. I would argue it's the complete opposite. The reason why I don't seek approval is because of my conservative values. You wouldn't seek approval from the outside world. The only approval I need is from God and Jesus Christ. That's where I get my acceptance from. Not from what the government is doing, not from what some raging liberal said, not even what family members choose to think about me. That's not my problem. I can't control what other people think. So it's one of the biggest misconceptions. Like, we're seeking approval and they're not going to accept you. Listen, nobody's going to accept you. Nobody cares about you. That's the harsh reality about life. Nobody cares about anybody, okay? They're focused on themselves 99% of the time. And the only people who truly care about you are the people you know that love you, right? And they demonstrate that through results. So it's just interesting how they always get it wrong. Okay, let's hear from you guys in the comment section to these stories today, starting with the mass shooting that clearly was prevented by law enforcement. What do you guys make of the rifle that was found, the way the guy looks, his name, his age? Let me know your thoughts about all that. Secondly, what did you make of President Trump's AI video? Did you find it distasteful, or are you enjoying the continuous meltdown from people on the left? And then what did you think about this crazy liberal going after this black conservative? Put all your thoughts and everything you got in the comment section below. Now, in our next video, a federal appeals court just handed the president a major legal victory. He can deploy National Guard troops to Portland, Oregon at this point. So if you guys missed out on that update and more from earlier today, all you have to do is click on that video because it's coming up right now.